All right. Everybody's in roll 20, so I think we're ready to go. Uh, Aldous, did you check my DM that I sent you a minute ago?
No, but I will here in a second.
Okay, thanks. Um, First of all, I apologize. My throat is a little sore, so I don't think I can fully caps lock your beholder tonight, but I'll do my best. Um, so plenty of things have happened in the past little while here. Um, you were able to, using a wand from grandmother or Irabel, uh, put the Naiad Eska's shifting into her tree, uh, and heal her and turn her from sand back to what she's supposed to be. Uh, about 12 hours after you did that, the Dragon Prince Vashta told you some things that have led you to believe that one of your fortresses is going to be under attack by his father's army any day now.
A vile force of evil.
And the half Ifriti has also told you that he's just going to go take a vacation while that happens. For no reason that you can discern. Might he have told you that info? Inscrutable reasoning. You decided to first have Dex bring an obelisk with a team to Alsane's, where he has put it together to protect Eska from further shifting. She was able to survive one redshift without being afflicted, without an obelisk. But you have no idea how many more she would have been okay under. So it was imperative that you get that obelisk up quickly, and that has been done. Dex is he used the teleport circle in Vashta's apartment to make it there quickly, and after which you destroyed the teleport circle so that nobody can use it. So that is where he's located now. Somebody will have to go pick him up, or he'll have to make the long trek back over the desert to get to you all. He could teleport back if he really needs to. But as always, that's a bit of an expensive trip. In the meantime, everybody else has been preparing for this supposed attack. Captain Vanther Zexiath, in particular, has been you would say roused by the information. He's been flying back and forth, doing his damnedest to get non-combatants evacuated and verbally try to cover every contingency he can think of about how you're going to be attacked, if you're going to be attacked. And everybody who can fight is getting ready for that. Lauren, you made an argument last week that you would like to travel out of the city quickly. And you know that these that's a good idea, Mont Lauren. Turn What's I saying? You know that these armies, or minions or whatever they are that's coming, um, are supposed to be coming from the city, Vrabast, which is north in the mountains somewhere that you have not yet quite found. Because the mountains are hard to traverse, and the commission has not branched out that far north yet. Um, During the discussion about going on the attack, on the offensive, with a small team, there was some agreement from Captain Van that he could go with you.
Yeah, we were thinking about trying to head along the ridgeline north, or I mean along the foothills north, to see if we run into the army coming out of Vrabast, and then if not, to maybe check to see if there's anything actually even at Vrabast, or if we've been lied to.
Now, was your plan? I don't think we settled on anything. I'm just asking because I want to know. If you were going to go north, were you planning on going around the west side of the mountain, the east side through the desert, or were you going to try to cut straight through, as middle as you could?
We would probably, I think, go around the west side, but we would have to spot a point where we can cut across through the hills to not go into that damn forest.
Yeah.
So it's either that or we skip along from the east side and hope they're not looking that way. But I feel like if they're manning the ridge lines, they would probably spot us a hell of a lot easier if we're coming in from the east, because they just see a skiff on the horizon.
Right. Yeah, I also feel like it's probably an easier traversal to Vrabast from the west, but more importantly, I feel like if they're gonna send an army down, there's a really good chance that they'll send it down the west side, because they can divert either to Chose or the tower, depending on where they actually like want to attack as a final stop. You know what I mean?
Right.
And if they do destroy the obelisk at Orissa's tower, that cuts off Chose from the rest of our network.
Well, Chose would still be connected, but yeah, it would, supply wise. Yeah, it would.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, logistically. Yep.
And I mean, yeah, that's fairly sound, considering that that you're pretty sure they know that you're, like, at best they might have a guess that you have proceeded into the desert, but as far as they know, as far as you can guess, you don't think they're aware really of, just how far you've gotten, or that you've claimed Alsanes. Now, Vashta did mention that he was, following you around on your explorations through the desert.
Yeah, and Vashta knows where we are, doesn't he?
He does. Well, he did before.
So if he communicates with home at all, then the Dragon Force should know that we've taken Alsanes.
Yeah.
At a very minimum, the possibility exists. Totally.
Yeah. He didn't tell you whether he told his siblings or his dad.
No, he didn't say whether he'd told anybody anything what he knew.
Yeah, safer to assume they know, probably. Though maybe not. If they're making a play for any of our further south bastions, then they may bypass Chose entirely.
Yeah, that's still a consideration. If he's not bluffing that the volcano is where his father's current lair is at, that would probably leave Orvis as potentially
Right.
where the attack will go. And while that doesn't entirely cut us off from our supply path in the north, it would not be a good spot because we have a lot of our people retreating there as they go further back towards Americus to get out of danger
Yeah,
zone.
it would still be crippling, really.
For sure.
We could be so lucky that they attack from the north with the army of those who remain, while Daddy makes a solo attack on Orvis and gets to meet all of the ballistas and the lightly trained civilians operating them.
Yeah.
But I don't think we'll be so fortunate to just knock them all out in one fell swoop like that.
Yeah, I kind of suspect that we won't see the dragon itself until an army arrives at a fortress, and then that he'll sweep in as like a surprise reinforcement.
Well, you have plenty of time to think about your fate here, because there's a very long redshift before it finally breaks. It's going to be the almost a whole 2 weeks. It's going to be the 2nd of Caddis before the redshift leaves UB. Now, in that time, are there any supplies that you want to prepare? Any stuff that you need to deal with? Obviously, spellcasters, make sure you've prepared the spells that you want for whatever you're going to be doing. But besides that, which I trust that you'll do, and Amber Green, I trust that you have added sending to your spell sheet because you're supposed to have that and you didn't for some reason. And there was some discussion about using it for useful things during this.
I did.
Excellent. What's the plan, everybody? I mean, Van wants to know too. He's full of plans, but he wants to know what you want to do.
Yeah, so I was thinking we head north on the western edge of the northern range here, and when we get maybe halfway or 2/3 of the way up the range, we start scouting with Naya in bird form to get better coverage and see what we can see. If we can find Raybass, then we'll go there. Otherwise, hopefully we find their army out of position.
You think you think the 6 of us will be able to take on whatever they're throwing at us?
No.
I hope to find it before they realize we're there, so that we can take it into account in our planning.
Excellent.
Yeah, this is just a scouting party. I'm thinking anyway.
All right, good. Well, we'll have to stay to the shadows of the foothills then. Depending on how big their army is, they'll have to march on the flat land. Certainly, the plains further west, unless they have flying creatures to support them, or something that can get through the mountainous terrain much quicker. But if they're moving on foot, then our small team will probably have an advantage in being able to get around the crags.
Yeah, if we can move fast and light, I think we'll definitely have an advantage if they're moving a real army.
We should see evidence of army movement in the sand or on the dirt. Moving any kind of size of an army, an actual army, is going to leave tracks.
Absolutely. And if we don't bump headlong into them, we've got a teleport circle back home, nearly. So if needed, we could beat them here.
That's the plan. I mean, depending if we find anything along the way, it could take, sir, did you say 6 days to get up there?
By mapways estimates, and not accounting for difficulty getting through the mountainous terrain, the fairly safe estimate for getting to the place Vrabast is marked on the map that you have is about probably 6 days of hiking. Yeah.
Okay, so in order to get there,
you imagine it would probably be a pretty easy 6 days if it was all like flat grasslands.
okay.
Right, so maybe 7 or 8, given the mountains.
Well, and then but that kind of travel time coming back too. So, it's not a super quick trip, but it's as quick as we can make it.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a worst case, we'll have to teleport back and then book it from the house to the city.
Okay, Nimbus, that works. Are you 100% certain that you want to do shield? Because I think it still... Excuse me, I think it still costs an action to use a scroll of that type.
Yeah, I like having it as something that I can use preemptively. If I know...
It's still plus 5 AC, right?
Yep, it'll end blocks magic missiles.
Yeah.
So if I know I'm gonna be hit or magic missile, then I can use it defensively.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, feel totally free to do that. You've got plenty of time.
All right.
Is Sharp here?
He is here. Angela's team is all except for Lufael are joining the Shoze defense. They're staying here if you're all going out.
Righteous.
Lulu and Irenaeus have been assigned to take the children up to Varia's Manor, where Lulu has instructions to teleport them out if things get bad. Otherwise, she's going to be in contact with everybody here at Shoze and on standby.
Sounds good.
And Dex, of course, is at Alsanes right now. He's protecting the obelisk there. And it seems like the best course of action is to keep him and his little squad in that spot, just in case something shows up at Alsanes. He can get out quickly, but he is also not very much of a slouch and can defend himself if necessary, at least against small numbers. So if something were to happen there, he's probably the best person to have over there right now. Did you want Sharp for anything specific?
Yeah, I was just sorry. The button was weird. Yeah, I was actually just thinking about how I would approach him about this topic.
All right.
I tried to find him when he has some alone time because I want to talk about the guild stuff. So I'd probably give him like a cant or something like that, like thieves can't message over to him that I want to talk to him about stuff.
Okay. In that case, he'll find you later that evening, near the eastern gate.
Sweet. So I'm assuming he'll approach me.
Yeah, if you tell him you're going to be waiting there for him and you want to talk, then yeah, he'll show up. Um, and say, well, it must be important if you called me out in the shadows to talk. What's up?
So I'm correct in thinking or assuming that you don't have a favorable opinion of our little club, right?
He says, my overseer has my neck between her two fingers. I couldn't leave if I wanted to. If that answers your question.
Right. Absolutely, absolutely. But it does seem to me that you are not only a smart and capable person, right? But a person in interest of finding as much freedom as possible. Is that
good?
So I've been thinking lately that there's some corrupt aspects of our little club. Some shady shit going down.
You don't say.
No, I say. But I also I hate to toot my own horn, but I feel as if I'm a keen individual. That I'm studious at least, and I noticed that our club wields a sort of influence and power that might be better used if put under checks and balances.
And who's going to be checking those balances, my friend?
I wouldn't say directly checking them, but maybe if we were to adopt the spiritual metaphor of alignment that priests so often talk about, taking our club from maybe a distasteful organization to a more neutral organization through weighting the types of work and individuals that are seated in the group. So I have a small idea for an operation to start such a seating. I wanted to ask if you were interested in signing up for my operation that I've been talking to my overseer about, in which we are working, and then I put up quotes, for the Brigadier after the Redshift.
I can't say I'd mind too much sticking with the commission for a little while longer. It hasn't been so bad here. You know, my friend, there are two ways this can go for you. Should you get found out before your plan comes to fruition. Either the board will end your life, or they'll give you a promotion that you can't refuse. So, I don't think you want either of those.
I was hoping for the latter, actually. It's such works that I want to do would only be for the benefit of those who join the Corner Club.
Well, maybe once you're all the way up there, you'll have enough sway to get what you want done. But the way I hear it is, the matter of seniority in that board tends to be very powerful. In any case, a better option would be to make sure that you do this properly, quietly.
Well, this is one of the reasons why I would suggest you, because though my plans to seed the organization, and he says it with like an exaggerated sort of like yeah to it. It may sound seedy, for lack of a better word, but like I'm saying, this is only for the benefit of our group and product. I don't mean to move loud, but I come to you thinking that you would also like to sway change.
Oh no, never fear. My notes are invisible, and he flips his spellbook at you for a second, and as you know, his spellbook is indeed invisible. Or the text is indeed invisible. So he's not lying. But he says, if you've got your boss Vim around your finger,
oh no. I'm sure what Vim thinks I'm up to is exactly what I am up to. And that is, I am working through the powers that the guild has given me in order to try to excel through the guild. I, likewise, cannot escape the guild and have absolute no freedom. But I do have one freedom, and that is the freedom of projection and speed. So if I project myself towards the higher rungs, I perhaps can go that way. But it would definitely be easier with people to work with who...
So what do you think? Do you want to be my overseer? Or do you want me to be another overseer? Both of us with our own agency, our own employees that we actually pay?
I believe the latter is the long-term plan.
And work together the way few other agencies do.
Yeah. Exactly. We have no freedom to leave, but we have freedom of projection and speed towards the end goal of whatever projection we project ourselves to.
I didn't have plans on going up that high, but... well, maybe it wouldn't be so bad.
And if we are both in agreement about, let's go back to our metaphor on alignment of the Corner Club, what better way to seed some lawfulness into this organization than a military connection?
Hera does have a way of whipping you into shape. There's a lot of people in the commission who are going to need new work after this is all done.
Exactly. If we can show the guild that we have the gumption to bring new agents into the organization, that I see only spells good things for us.
You have an interesting idea, my friend.
I sigh, and he sighs and he says, I like that answer, but I assume we're leaving it at that for now?
I'm going to have to do some hard thinking about this. It's going to take quite a lot of work to get Alcoze off my back or willing to promote me.
Right. But if you come in hot and loud the way that I'm supposing that you do, alongside me. I believe her employers rather, might be able to thumb the pressure points that you miss.
We'll have to bring back something really good from this zone. Not to say what we found already isn't good, but I mean something incredible.
Yeah, likewise, I'm hoping to hear back from them. I've suggested to them multiple experiments that could possibly be done.
Well, if we do find something incredible, I don't mind sharing the credit with you. Of course, we're partners out here, different agencies though we may be.
Absolutely. Partners in the idea of a future agency.
Well, Albus, what are you going to name yours?
Alvis puts a finger to his nose. He thinks about it for a second. And he says, "It'll come to me."
Well, don't come up with one too good. Otherwise, I'll have to use something better than Agency Sharp.
Agency Sharp.
It's better than Agency Prime. Alcozes wasn't even the first one. She called it that anyway.
Prime?
Oh, yeah. You haven't met her.
What's my agency called again? Sorry, I've been having a headache since the last outing. What's my agency called?
I've got the name for it around here somewhere. Where the fuck did I put it? I'm confident that I had. Nope, actually, I had a different agency completely, somewhere in a different part of the world that I wrote down. I didn't name yours yet. That's up to you. What is Vim's agency named? Just note it can't be Prime and it can't be Crimson.
Oh, Vim's? His name is Vim. I forgot about that, right?
Yeah. But what's his agency named?
His agency is called Figures.
Excellent.
I like that.
It stands for Vigorous.
No, I know, but VIGOR probably should be an acronym.
Oh, yes. If it was going to be that, now I understand.
I like Vim's figures. That's good.
It is good.
Vim's very good.
Yeah, he for now will leave you at that. He'll say, I'll certainly have to think about a name.
Well, first we should think about establishing the various different things here in the Redshift zone that will prove valuable enough to get us said agency.
Horace, if you have a museum at that collector's mansion, perhaps I'll put a museum at the Great Tower.
Yeah, I like that. Likewise, there's I think it was literally a museum at the other city.
Ah, that is true. I'm not much of a curator, though. Perhaps I'll write a book instead.
Yeah, I'll give you free access to the map. You put it inside like the index,
Oh, good. I was afraid after we're no longer commission colleagues, I'd lose access to it.
Nah, bro. We're partners, remember?
Um,
I won't hold you to that yet.
he holds out to shake your hand.
I shake his hand.
He says,
I'm using my left hand too, the wounded one.
okay.
Becoming symbolic for me.
He says though, I'll make sure you don't go get eaten by a dragon first. Otherwise, I'll have to do all this work by myself, and that doesn't sound very fun. I hate working.
Oh, don't worry. If the dragon comes, I'm gonna make sure to bring it over here first. We'll all go out in a blaze of glory.
I'll let Angela know.
Hey, Angela.
Nimbus,
Yes.
please tell me about Cast Other Plane. Or you don't have to tell me. I mean, you can click on the spell.
Yeah, I'll just
You
click
can.
on it here.
Did I say Cast Other Plane?
Yes.
I meant Contact. Okay. You get how many? 5 questions. And you get a truthful yes? No. It has to be truthful, right?
Let's see.
It doesn't say it has to be truthful, but the intention seems to be that it should be. I would assume that it's supposed to be truthful.
Well, second paragraph is very specific. DM answers each question with one word. Yes, no,
Yeah.
maybe, never, irrelevant, unclear.
Yeah, but it does go on to say that if a one-word answer would be misleading, the DM might instead offer a short phrase, which implies that you should be honest.
Yeah. That's interesting because usually
does imply
something like augury, I think, says like it must be a true answer in it. So
Right.
it'll be true answers. Yeah, okay. You'd have to. You're insane until you finish a long rest. So yeah, you could cast this before the long rest finishes, and then you'd be fine.
Yeah.
As long as you. Oh, it's a ritual anyway, so you don't even need the spell slot. Hey.
Correct. So it'll be an int saving throw. I think that
Okay.
passes.
Seems like it. All right, you gain information from the beyond. Now, please, if you don't mind typing out the questions as well as if you're going to
I
say
was
them,
actually going to do that. I was going to offer that.
Perfect. that will help us remember what was said.
What's the name of the this world or plane or universe or whatever? This I guess the planet or the plane, if not the planet.
Just Earth for now.
Earth.
Yeah.
ERF.
Earth. Once again, I will just remind everybody while we're doing this casting is if you need to switch any prepared spells, now's the time. Last time I'm going to remind you.
Thank you.
We got him.
Yeah, I'm all set.
I think I swapped one thing out, and it's like, I don't know what I'm heading into, so. Yeah.
The
Doing
answer
her
to
best,
that
boss.
the answer to that question is
Was
yes.
that a DM or am I lagging?
What? You might be lagging, or maybe scroll down in the chat.
I heard everything
Are you
except the answer.
Oh, I'm sorry. The answer to the question, are you familiar with Vesoth, the region or kingdom of Vesoth, is yes.
Okay. Now, I want to give a little. I probably would have done this in the preparation process. If we have do we have the scale from the that dragon throne that we found? Is it with us or is that back in Orvis?
Dex usually keeps like all the important useful stuff in his workshop. So it's probably there.
Okay. I would have brought that then, so it can
Okay.
help me.
The answer to, are you aware of the locations of the one known as the Dragon King and his kin, who are the people that the scale came from? The answer is some of them.
Let's see what time it is here. At 8:35, I'm gonna step away for just a moment, in like 20 minutes, but let me continue with this.
The answer to that question is, let me think. Mentally arranging information. The answer to that question is yes.
Now, I am going to, out of character, ask you a question real quick, just to confirm on that. That would mean, in this interpretation, they are currently stationed and hunkered down and protected from the Redshift at Raybast, or that is a location they deploy out to?
You said currently.
Currently.
So you got a yes to currently.
Okay. Wow. All right, everybody. Holy shit. Holy fucking shit.
Yeah, that just saved like 2 weeks.
Yep, nicely done.
Easter egg. Bay in the
I'm going to say, depending on how long this fourth question is, you might not have time for a fifth. You do have to ask them all in the 1 minute.
Typing time counts.
Typing time doesn't count, but I'm thinking literally the time it takes to ask and then have the question answered.
Okay.
The answer to that question is no.
Excellent.
And you've got time for one more short question. So cut it in half.
What's the answer to life, universe, and everything?
Don't forget to put the answer there, Nimbus.
Ask him if one day I'll be big.
Is there a movie about that?
Yep. It's called Big.
The answer to that final question is unclear. The information being delivered to you is whatever source it comes from is unaware of that specific intention. As far as you can tell.
Okay. I will thank them if there's any time left, but otherwise I'd imagine the connection would dissipate.
Yeah.
All right. So I would of course communicate that to everybody, and
well, that just saved 2 weeks.
this helps us quite a bit. this lets us know it is not only that they use it as a deployment point, that is their fortress. That appears to be their stronghold.
Right, at least one location that they literally hunker down the Redshift in.
The Brigadier says, I don't love trusting weird ghost magic for military strategy, but if you're sure, then I'll take it into account.
It's
Van says, come on, Lucent, you can trust it. It's just magic. It's not scary or anything.
I
just love Van.
I absolutely share your concern with all the oddities we've seen in and around the Redshift. I have no idea who or what I may have communicated with, and if there was anything garbled in translation, in communication back and forth that I was unaware of, and there is no way to determine. That said, if I'm not mistaken, both among the Commission and by request at the Empire, we would be able to use those insightful and divination to be able to give us a little bit more of a confirmation on what we have just learned. You know, a second look, a review of the details. There might be a little bit more they can learn from.
We've got plenty of magic. Listen, I'm not doubting you. To be clear, let's use this information. This at least this means Orvis should be secure.
I do want to. This is from an academic perspective. It's very similar to casting Find Familiar. I'm not reaching into the Feywild and grabbing some spirit and shoving it in some form. Badath and Keen and every familiar you've ever met, they were at the front of the line. They were at the forefront, ready and willing, and managed to be the one to, strike at the opportunity and use that as a way to enter. Likewise, it's the same with
more stuff than others.
Perhaps demigods and deities and long dead sages whose memories still remain. They are often the ones who want to communicate, and it's not just reaching out in any old voice. It's that these are folks, these are entities that are yearning to reach out and have any communication. Life can be boring when it's infinite,
That's right. I wonder who out there is interested in the dragon that we're dealing with. We'll have to let them know if we manage to kick them out.
I mean, for all I know, that could have been Salmas. There's no way to know.
Let's hope it was somebody nicer than that.
Well,
He
he was, I gotta say, for a spike-covered demon, it didn't seem like he was the worst. He just came to, do his thing, get summoned, give some humans a little favor, get a little sacrifice for it, and get out, Typical devil business. But
I hear he's been a great business partner.
He just got trapped, and we were able to take advantage of the opportunity.
Yeah. It's a very straightforward situation.
Yeah. It was not done with, any harm or malice or intent. Very much. It's like those real cutthroat attorneys back in the Empire that I hear about. The stories of, we acted out one time. It was so dramatic. People just did not like it afterwards because they related way too hard to it. So we only ran it once.
Albus Taver jokingly reaches into his pouch and he's like, I could still, summon him up if you want to talk to him. I got the Stygian ritual of the waking, sleeping king right here.
Oh, yes. Maybe one day after things are resolved here, that could be a fun academic sort of thing, I suppose, but probably not while things are still wild. Gosh, if you're able to offer him something nice enough that he'd actually be interested in, he could be a part of your tour stops.
He might also be helpful here.
Yes, not in the city. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
if you don't mind.
That'll all be sorted out elsewhere. Right now we do have to consider that we still don't know if there's an imminent attack. At least we know where it's likely to come from.
Well, I suppose that makes sense. If some ghost knows about this dragon, I mean, they've been out here for what, centuries now?
Seems like for the better part of the Redshift. I don't get the feeling that they dove in day one and started smashing and grabbing, but it seems like they've been quite a while. For all I know, it might have just been their escape and respite. They didn't even realize they could build a kingdom here. 1,000 years later, what used to be a younger dragon has now got a little bit more gold embedded in the scales, a little bit more tooth, a little more tail.
Given the evidence, I'd assume that they've been here for quite a while. All of or most of the choice treasure being already found and looted.
Yes.
It's true, they've had plenty of time.
Likewise, we heard as much from, what was the last prince's name?
Vashta.
Vashta. Yeah, we heard from Prince Vashta that when he first came here, it was interesting because of that. But then, once all of the treasure got moved out,
Yeah, he said to you himself that he's pretty bored after 2 centuries. Was
it only 2 centuries that he said? I thought he said 2 millennia. Okay.
No.
All right.
So,
if he decides to give this whole thing up, there's a place far to the south of my hometown, the kind of where the earth and fire plane meet, and kind of leave their runoff. Well, that's how the story goes, as it were. Seems like the sort of place he would absolutely love to live and vacation. He could even be a little warlord. He could unite all of the mountain bandits and such.
A little warlord. That's an epic song cycle I was writing, actually.
For all you know, that's where his mom lives.
Well, then that would be a good place for him to come back home to. I'm sure we'll have a chance to talk sometime later. Now I hope he's having a great old time back home.
I did have a thing I wanted to try to tinker if I had enough time in my scheming.
Yeah, what's up?
I wanted to try to tinker a ramming horn for Keen.
Oh, that doesn't sound too hard.
So, something for goring,
Yeah.
Dirty.
Like a Gurren Lagann Keen.
That's funny, but I was thinking more last unicorn, sort of like a pokey blade.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So you want it to be a single blade on her head?
Yeah. I'd probably so Alvis would think about it from Vim's sort of perspective. Though Vim doesn't shave, Vim would say things similar to like reusable razor is a great invention because all you need to do once the blade is deteriorated is replace the blade, and the handle is still there. Everything is great. Like, so Alvis would think about it sort of like maybe a bayonet or something that he could like stick a knife into, and it be utilized by Keen as a ramming thing because of the base that he made.
I think that's honestly, given the amount of time you have, that's probably pretty easy to make. Could you find me a creature in the bestiary that has like a similar stat block to that? A similar attack somewhere?
Already on it, boss.
We can use it for reference. In the meantime, Van asks, well, we have some new info. Does this change our plan?
At least we know the south is not as much at risk from a volcano attack.
Right, so we can focus all of our attention up here, which is even better.
I did ask, though, let's be clear, if they can deploy rapidly. It doesn't mean they can't still amass there.
Right.
It's true. If that's accurate, that probably means that they don't have any standing armies there, but if they wanted to take a teleport circle, that's still in the cards.
Yeah, I would imagine.
That's a pretty slow process, though.
Well,
I mean, it's kind of like what we do. You get a few ace agents through the portal, and that's how you do it.
that volcano's been there for over a year. For all we know, Papa's been coming back and forth every day and redoing it. And he's already completed it, and we just don't know. And with good reason. I don't really want to go on a volcano anytime soon. Not that I'm afraid of it. It just doesn't seem very comfortable. And
Likewise, they're pretty
dangerous.
overrated. I lived in one for a few years. It wasn't all that.
Actually, as a beholder, I could imagine that'd be pretty swell for defensibility, but you're not going to get a lot of people coming through there, and not a lot of treasures going to turn up. If you got a hideout, maybe, but
The real problem is if you're trying to dig yourself a lair, you accidentally pop into tiny little lava tubes all the time, and it gets really dangerous.
that's what I was wondering. You would have to switch between disintegration and petrification. I don't know if you heard that.
Yeah, I heard Nimbus. What did you say, Amber Green?
I said they spurt like deadly zits.
Yeah. Yeah, he said, not worth it. I got a cave up in some snowy mountains after that. And that was fine. Till I came to my senses and all that.
Hey, whatever happened to the rest of that deck?
I got rid of it. I didn't want to risk it falling into anybody's hands or to have the temptation to pull any more myself again. I could get the same card again and flip back.
That's very wise of you.
So happy you did that, because I would have been tempted for at least one pull. I'm a gnome, after all.
I'm sure it's out there somewhere, but this was decades and decades ago. I've got no idea where it is.
Even if that one was destroyed, the legend goes there's always one.
Right. Well, that was why I pulled it in the first place. I finally got my stocks on one, and I couldn't resist. I thought surely
That's awesome. Because he didn't do it with his fingers. He floated it in the air with one stock, and then teased a card out with the other. Like, come on, imagining that's hilarious.
I thought the odds were very much in my favor. I guess they were in the end. Things turned out pretty well.
Well, what did you think you were pulling for? Or you just wanted the odds and just the chaos of a gamble?
Right? Like, what, going for a wish? That's all you could not do yourself already.
Pretty much. Yeah. I mean that kind of power is nothing to sneeze at.
Nope, certainly not.
Do beholders sneeze? They don't have noses.
No, we don't. We our respiratory system is perfect. In fact, infallible. We don't get stuck in there.
I was gonna think, like, yeah, can you imagine a beholder sneezing? That's a sight.
Well,
would it compel you backwards?
Shush. Now, hold on. I'm gonna say, cut that line of thought. Let's not talk about it again, because the more you make, anybody dwell on it, bad things. Let's just keep it.
No, I was going to say, I hear similar rumors that they actually breathe through their skin like sponges, like sea sponges.
That one's not true. No, we have a mouth. It's all connected in there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
If you say so.
If your mouth is closed and you have to breathe like real hard, does it go out of your stalks?
Could we come back to the topic?
That isn't.
Don't make
I can
him
answer that
sneeze.
for you. It's no.
No beholder sneezing. That's the rule.
Fantastic. All right. I'm sorry I asked that. Well, I know at least one of those stories was made up.
Oh, I don't mind. I'm happy to
beholder
teach people about my kind. Not that you should think beholders are friendly, because we're not. Most of us are not. No.
Because we're not.
No. Don't tell children that beholders are friendly. That there's only one of those that I know of.
No, you're the only one that breaks the rule. Normally, what I've been told is, if you meet a beholder that doesn't speak your language, that's the best, because they'll probably just kill you. They're not going to manipulate you. If a beholder speaks your language, ooh, you're in for generations of trouble.
Can't they just learn your language by getting up in your head?
Well, it's a little bit different to actually, learn the nuance and then, take in all the history and all the knowledge. And by the time they've done that, their acumen in, whatever culture they're going to infiltrate.
Right, I could enthrall you even if I didn't know your language. Of course, I'd never do that. But
right, but doesn't one of your eyes have charm?
I enthrall any day, man.
Well, thank you. If you ever inexplicably turn against us, I'll keep that in mind.
Sweet.
Don't worry, I've got a plan for each of you. There's no problem.
You're like Batman.
I'm so glad.
Right, that's heartwarming.
Yeah, honestly, worst case scenario, just disintegrate me and I'll just reappear in my homeland that much faster. I won't even have to decompose.
There we go. Alvis has sent me some stat blocks that have gore in them. So gore is a melee weapon attack for piercing damage. I think I'd probably just copy the cow version.
Yeah, I gave you the cow version because it's like, all right, so there's the Minotaur, and then there's the Auroch. Here's the most mundane of them all, and it's a cow.
Yeah, because I gave it. Keen is using the freaking what was it? Was it the direwolf block?
I don't know.
No, what the?
You didn't give me that deep inside knowledge.
I did just take a good beast block. It wasn't a direwolf. I think it was like a bear.
Giant. Remember the challenge rating of it?
No, actually. Wait, is it still in here? Challenge rating 1.
It's like giant badger or something.
Yeah, like giant, not hyena. Lion, maybe? No. Tiger? No.
Bear?
Badger,
Oh my.
weasel.
She has whichever one has trample. I don't know which one it is.
Boar?
Definitely bear.
That sounds like a boar.
Oh, it might have been the boar. Hang on, where is that?
Oh, you're such a boar.
Boar doesn't have trample.
Boar. Oh, it doesn't have trample either. So okay.
Hold on. I think
I don't fuck. Maybe I fucking made it up. Who knows?
who knows? You know,
This whole sheet looks made up. Like it's a medium construct, lawful, neutral. I don't know if I can share this. I think you can just click on it inside the characters and see it.
Anyway. So yeah, she's already doing. Let's see. So on trample, she's got a 2d6. So the cow's gore is a 1d6. That's a little low. You know what I might do? Maybe I'd up that to like a 1d8 or a 1d10, and keep it at the single die, but up it a little bit so it does some extra damage in there. And then do we want to apply the charge to it?
I was just about to ask if we could apply the charge because it's just maneuvers.
Yeah. I mean
Even
that
the
makes
gets
sense.
charged.
Yeah, right. That makes sense to me. Plus she's got conditional stuff on her is cool. Now you're also putting like a disposable knife in this thing, right?
Yeah. I'm
Okay.
fitting it because I have 2 daggers. I'm fitting it to one of my daggers because it's what I have.
Okay. So here's what we'll do. We'll say this is going to take a second to add, but you're going to be able to do this during the Redshift. No problem. You can fit that base in. Smithy will help you. So we'll do gore. We'll make it an attack. It's a melee weapon attack with strength. Reach is 5 feet. 1 target. Crit range is 20. It's gonna be a 1. Let's make it. Yeah, we'll make it a D10. Piercing damage. And plus.
I gotta go AFK. I'll be back.
No problem.
All right.
Here's what we'll do. I'm gonna add the 2d6 piercing damage to the main attack. And we'll say if Keen moves, what is it, 20 feet straight toward a target? Yeah. 20 feet, at least 20 feet. Straight toward the target. And hits it with gore on the same turn. The attack deals an extra 2d6 damage. Additionally, all right. So here's going to be your downside. Upon hitting with this attack, roll 1d20. On a 1, the bayonet breaks. Fair?
Absolutely. Yeah. No. Totally.
Presto.
Yep, and because it's a bayonet, I don't think it should get any of like the aurochs. I don't think the cow has it either. No, the cow doesn't have it. Never mind. So the aurochs has like a DC for getting thrown or knocked prone, similar to the trample one. But
Yeah, so
it doesn't make sense in my head for like
Agreed.
a bayonet because it's a fine point. It's like a spear.
agreed. And we're gonna have this we're gonna have this be a choice that you can make when deciding your attacks. So if you want to knock him prone, you use the trample. If you want to yeah, and then the gore, if you move far enough, does an average of 5 extra damage to the target. But the trample, you can knock them prone, and you don't have to move. So
Yeah, and then you can just start goring them while they're trampled prone. That's gore.
cool.
Albus Taver's demonstrating this to like a hay bale man that he's made to Montlarin, and he's like, yeah, look, see, it's great.
Will kill.
So just keep track of the daggers in your inventory. We'll just use the dagger item as the tracker for that. And if you run out, then you'll run out.
Oh, okay. I will not minus. Yep, that actually makes more sense than doing it on Keen's character sheet.
Yeah. Okay. So Nimbus is AFK, but does in the meantime anybody have anything else that they want to do? Or has your major plan changed at all?
I mean, like, I feel like our major plan kinda should change a little bit, but maybe not too much, but maybe a little bit.
Well, maybe Van and I just go fly north. When we get
Van's
up there,
actually pretty slow comparatively. Like,
he's the one that wanted to race me, for God's sake.
No, he was betting who sees something first. He can keep up with you on the road, but if you're actually like flying out far alone,
like crow flies kind of thing.
He does only have a fly speed of 20 feet.
Okay.
So he can keep up with you on foot, but he's going to have a very hard time keeping up with a giant eagle in flight.
Maybe I just go by myself then, or I take Alvis or Nimbus or somebody light and carry them so that I'm not going alone, and just go north as fast as we possibly can and check it out, verify, come back. Instead of wasting everybody's time if there's nothing. Because that's almost 2 full weeks to get up there, see nothing, get back.
Brigadier says, I mean, in a certain way of thinking, there's if there is something there and we have to send you all up there, potentially better than having you all wait around here for another 2 weeks.
Agree.
No,
I mean, if we're waiting on an attack that never comes, that's a lot of sitting around twiddling our thumbs.
Right, and no offense, but I don't want you here unless we need you here to defend something. If there's something you all can do out in the field that's going to help us, then you should do it. Obviously, if they do show up at our gate, I hope you'll make it back. But
me too.
Till that moment, your talents are better spent elsewhere, anywhere else.
Yeah, I don't know that our plan really changes much, with the exception that we know we need to be careful because there absolutely are forces north of us somewhere.
Yeah. I'm not too surprised by all that. The fact that we've never seen anything happen at that volcano to the south. We haven't had the manpower to send anybody out there to go check it out directly, but it's simply been erupting away harmlessly all over there all this time. We have kept an eye on it, you know.
I want you to expect the worst, though. We're gonna go there.
Don't worry.
We're gonna get attacked because we're totally walking into some kind of setup, and I feel like somewhere behind us is gonna get attacked while they know we're out.
That possibility definitely exists.
Well, as far as we know, they can't teleport behind us. Yet.
No, you should have enough time as the dragon flies.
that's what we need to watch out for. She says, "Well, you've got Nimbus, and he can get you back here quickly." Words. As long as you don't go meeting a whole army head first, I trust you'll make it back here somehow.
Just still be here to be made back to.
Don't worry. We'll be okay. We've got Mortier's team on it. And everybody else. And me.
Yes. You want to slay a dragon?
Done it once before. Wouldn't recommend it.
That's a story.
I'll tell you when you get back, I suppose.
Okay.
It's not as grand as you imagine it might be. It was there were a lot of people involved.
Still, I think you said the word dragon.
Yes, and occasionally those great lizards make themselves known in civilized lands, and we need to defend ourselves.
Well, you go underground, right?
We humans need sunlight to live, so that's not the best option. Not long term, anyway.
Ah, so Bastilla.
Yep. That and a whole lot of people. And a few smart brains at the front figuring out where they all need to be. Anyway, I'll tell you about it later.
I'll hold you to that.
For now, you need to make sure you get in, get out, disrupt whatever you can. Confirm that prince's bait. Whether it was true or false.
We should totally plant the bug, guys.
That's a really good idea.
We don't have it. It's down by it's used in Orvis right now.
Oh, they're using it to watch the volcano.
Yeah.
Also, we'd have to get really, really close in order to plant that and get anything.
You would. I'd be a little bit wary of putting it near a dragon's lair too. If they find it, they might be able to use it.
Yeah, that's fair.
I see you.
And the last thing we need is a dragon breaking into our network.
True enough.
Just got to make sure the glyph of warding is powerful enough to destroy it completely.
Yeah.
Fortunately, that giant and his sister don't seem to know enough about these things to figure out how they work. Otherwise, they probably would have done some havoc when they broke the one at Aris's tower. But who knows about the dragon himself?
Yeah, I mean, he's got a good racket going, so he probably thinks about stuff.
Dragon.
You know, I hadn't really elucidated this thought yet, but if he and his spawn live at the ruins of that city, they must have some protection from the Redshift that we don't know
Right.
about. We don't know how it works.
Or
As
a
far as-
teleportation circle
As far
inside
as
Braybest.
as far as we had been told, at least by our captured friend, it's actually something that the Dragon King himself produces. That he creates the protection.
That's right. Magnus did mention something like that. It didn't seem like he knew very well how it worked.
That's interesting, though.
But yes, I remember now.
Dragon propaganda.
Well,
I think that's how we treated it.
It makes me wonder what because if everybody who had been deployed, Morio, Zormos, Nasharala, Bashta, all were doing so with the teleportation circle, we know they don't sit out in the Redshift. They don't have a protection that they can rapidly deploy and sustain the same that we do. So
For a long time.
they go and then they come back every time, whether they're the ones casting it or their wizards come through from the other side and then make the portal to bring them back. However they work that out. So it does indicate that they have very limited means to protect. They don't leave it. We know that much. They stay in it. And they stay, whatever it is, it's something that the Dragon King either creates or activates and powers. But I get the feeling...
And they're no fools. They know very well the effects the Redshift has on people, too.
Yeah. And I think that might actually be part of the Dragon King's, grip and control over all of them is, some of you might have the ability to get out of the Redshift and I wouldn't be able to do too much. I could always, hunt you down or something. But most of you wouldn't, if I kick you out and you don't have my protection from the Redshift, you're dead. You have no chance.
Quite convincing.
So that definitely seems like it's part. It's a red dragon. Of course, that's the sort of scheming and iron-fisted control they would have.
So chaotic evil, right?
It does indicate, does make sense that would be their centralized stronghold in the area. Having teleportation circles outside of this land as places to go to, as backups and retreats, certainly possible. But those would probably be at the Dragon King's discretion to open up and use. It's not something that everybody would have access to. So that
we found 3 transport circles, right?
Right. Those were created for the use of the princes in those specific locations.
That's right. So, I guess what we didn't check, now I wish we had, or I don't even know if we could tell, if they all go to, if the destination of coming from that circle is the same. Does the address show on the destination?
It is very much like an address. It is one way.
Yeah. Teleport circles are a go-to address. You do not use a teleport circle to go anywhere. You cast a spell aimed at a teleport circle. Remember?
Right, but I mean, are the runes for the destination put somewhere on the circle? if we had recorded all three of the three that we've seen so far, we would know what the destination is for where they're going.
Nope.
No. So basically, like, if Nimbus casts right here in the middle of show, say if he casts teleport circle, he's going to draw it on the ground. You're going to zap over to the collector's house,
right?
And then that circle is going to disappear or blow away in the wind, the chalk and stuff.
Okay.
You look at the one on the floor and you record it and you say, I have those symbols. I now know the address of this location. And then you can draw a circle anywhere you want and go to that address that you have.
It's like sending a blank letter other than the address through a postage. And when it gets there, the person doesn't know where it came from, just that it came to them.
Yep.
That's what a teleportation circle is.
Stargate rules.
Now, that doesn't mean there aren't magics of scrying and divination and such that could be used to glean where people have come to there from. That's just not my specialization.
Yeah. Van says, yes, after all, I mean, we've met 2 or 3 of them now that are most likely in their lair as we speak, considering the Redshift is on. If one of us were able to scry them, we might be able to see what they're doing.
Well, we got Daddy's butt scale right here.
Ha!
Can anyone scry though?
Can we afford it?
Scry.
Can we afford it? Do we have the materials? That was our.
I think we can do one, and then that means we can't do other things.
Yeah, that's what Dex says is the problem. You need a nice mirror or something, or a crystal ball.
I don't have it readied anyway. I readied Massacre one. So.
I know onyx and mithril and stuff is expensive, but golly, Radiant Empire, I feel like could maybe throw a little bit more in this whole operation. And I know leadership, you folks have been doing your very best, but just a little bit more of this and that will really help us push that further that much faster.
Oh, agreed.
Bureaucracy.
Well, so in terms of our plan, I don't see a need for all 6 of us to head north anymore. And really kind of, given the information that we got, probably wasting almost 2 weeks.
I don't think it's a waste though, right? Because we still don't know if they're on the move. Like, we don't know if their attack is coming now. We also don't know what conditions are like at Vraybast or what forces even actually amounted there, or amassed there, excuse me. So I kind of feel like it's still a useful trip personally. But I
don't know if it's useful for all of us.
Well, flying in, you're not going to be able to look. Like, if we get to Vraybast and we want to, poke around, you're only going to be able to do so much alone.
Yeah, the Brigadier says, and I mean, if you find something and can get back to us even hours before we would see them otherwise, then that's help enough. And
To go for a ride.
Quillix, unless you think there's something better everybody could be doing over here.
No, I don't. I wish I did, but I mean, I think at one point there was a plan to go down to Gimmery.
Yeah, I was actually just about to say, I mean, 2 weeks might be enough time to do that experiment, but Montlarin did make a good argument for why we would be, better used up there. I just there is an opportunity now.
We probably have the materials coming soon. What's the progress on the next obelisk setup for the Foggy Fort, or did we already get that one set up?
Van says, well, we put everything toward getting to All Saints as quickly as we could. We're about half done with the next one, but me or Dex are gonna have to go over there, or up there, to set that up. So, it's probably gonna have to wait till he's done at All Saints.
Right.
What kind of materials?
We should be able to do it though.
What kind of materials do we need to make another bug?
About 1/10 of what you need to make an obelisk.
So a little mithril, a little onyx. Not a little, but small.
And how heavy is it once it's made? Light, right?
Not heavy. Yeah, it's 5 pounds or so.
Could
it lighter than that?
Could an eagle carry it?
Mithril is a very light. It's like the metal of the Titans.
Yeah, an eagle could carry one. But you don't have the bug right now. It is.
No, that's what I was looking at. Was if it makes sense if we have materials. I didn't know if they were special or rare or ordinary, but then making a bug and seeing if I could find a place up north outside of Raybast that could record troop movement. And that's all it would do, is it would show nothing, maybe something.
The Brigadier says again, I'm worried about the risk of even if we had one, I'd be worried about the risk of a dragon finding it. Because it does connect to our real obelisks, after all. That's in a place where we have a real enemy like this, that's a big risk.
Okay.
I agree.
Ben says, "Well, we've got a couple of choices here. I mean, I've got loads of plans. So if you want to hear the rest of them, just let me know. But if we take the west route and they come down west and we bump into them, we could probably spy on them and then get back here quick and warn everybody. If we don't run into anyone, then we could probably make it all the way to Vraybast and look around a little bit. Maybe if it's a trap, then I mean." We'll have to see it from afar. If we can see it from afar, we'll be able to get back and notify. Now, the only problem with going all the way there is we might piss them off and turn no attack into yes attack. But that's probably going to happen in the long run anyway, and that's assuming Vashta was lying.
Okay, wait. If we go, it's a scouting mission. We're supposed to be stealthy. So, no attacking. It's only 2 people. It's not happening. It's get there, get back, period.
Oh, yeah. I know, but you got to account for every possibility.
The only 2 people, we're not going into combat. Period.
Well, no, I don't think it should be only 2 people. I think we should all go.
Well, then we're back to using up a whole 2 weeks almost to do this trip and get back.
I just don't see literally anything more important.
The only other thing that I could think would be important is actually, and we'd have to do it at the right times of day so we aren't revealing our position as we travel, but going along the east side instead of the west, taking the skiff up and back down, and so we can see what all there is going on there. We have no idea. It's a blind spot that we haven't had any time to really check out. At least some of the road towards Vrabast from the west, we've been up a little ways, and we know that in general, it's the sort of terrain that favors us well, and they tolerate, but I don't think they necessarily like it. For all we know, it could be that they actually do their training in the sand in the deserts, and we can spot them doing drills in the distance and get out of there. They like heat.
Yeah, I mean, that's
they're going to use heat.
possible.
That's kind of what I was hoping, since they all love the desert so much.
Yeah, it just seems to me that it would be harder to move an army across the sand than it would be the grasslands on the other side.
Well, it depends what sort of things they have to shape the ground in front of them, as it were. If, someone can do like Nasharala, but on a bigger, faster scale, and simply liquefy the sand into glass that they're walking across.
Feet, the webbing would actually propel them faster.
Yeah, well, for those that have it.
Well, I don't know how many different kinds of dragon kind there are. I'm a dragonborn, so I don't know that stuff.
You don't look like Zoramos, Nasharala, or Morio, to be honest. Morio may be the closest, but not that short ever. It was like a gnome size.
Yeah. Man says, yeah, so if we assume that they're not coming down the east side, then we could get in there really quick. We could poke around, and we could turn around and leave real quick. If we assume that they are coming down the east side, though, then, well, if we're on the skiff, then even if we bump into them, we might be able to outrun them, as long as we don't get into a wreck.
Well, fortunately, you would be able to help propel and keep us going in between your powers and the wind. I'm sure we'd be able to make haste across the sand.
I think my concern is if they're coming down the desert, you got to think more like a dragon instead of a human, or a biped. What if they have flyers, if they have like a whole platoon, I don't know what those things are, but like a whole group of flying beasts, flying dragonkin as part of their army, then they'll just go as the crow flies, which means that the east is vulnerable. I don't necessarily want them to know we have a skiff.
I see.
I mean, is that making any sense to anybody?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Was there any other... the goats aren't going to go that fast. It'd be kind of vulnerable going with them.
I agree. That's why it's a problem. So it's either we take the skiff and risk discovery and giving knowledge to the enemy, that's important, because a skiff out there not only tells them we have a skiff and therefore some kind of fast travel, but it means that we have established a presence at Chose or someplace close by. I mean, that their target
sail out of.
Yeah, that their target should not be Orvis at all, and they don't have to fight us at all to know that. All they got to do is have scouts posted. Skiff is not small.
Well, if that's the case, it
does make a big cloud too.
It's going to be kind of a tough ride. To be honest, my steed isn't really slowed down too much on sand, but I wouldn't want to go ahead of anybody, for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
In fact, I don't think I've clicked that actual spell in a little bit, so let me just bring that up.
But that's why I've been emphasizing and kind of hollering about having it be a stealth operation and from the air. Chances are they don't have a whole army made of flyers. They just have a group, a platoon or a brigade or whatever those are called. A select group of flyers.
Yeah, like a squadron.
Thank you. I knew somebody would know the word.
Squadron is a good word.
Use that. I mean, they don't necessarily have rangers or other ranged kind of capabilities, so they would have to almost get in melee range in order to do their thing, except if they have flyers. That makes him that much more prodigiously dangerous. Their scouts don't have to be flyers. They just got to be positioned on those eastern rocks, watching us sail up on the skiff. You know, who are these clowns? Never give away the position. We come in and we're scouting and they see us better than we see them, and yeah. I do not want to be giving the enemy information.
Yeah, I still feel like heading up along the western side is the safer bet in general.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's more cover as well. Then we can camp, even if it's a cold camp, and I can fly up to see if there's anything to see, even in the dark. I have dark vision as an eagle. Right?
Maybe.
I think that's right.
No, actually.
No? There's one of the other ones then that has dark vision.
It's a giant owl.
Owl. Oh, owl might be the smart one at night. Especially up in the forest. Owls would be in the forest. That's reasonable.
Yeah, owl sounds like a good choice indeed.
For nighttime, yeah. I just feel like it needs to be, I feel really strongly, sorry, I'm harping, but I feel very strongly that it needs to be a stealthy mission. And if we take
I think we all agree.
If we take the skiff and go from the east, I think our risk of being seen from a distance without us ever even knowing that we've been seen is more than 50%.
Right.
Unfortunately, going up from the west side means it's a lot slower. And I don't know, there's, theoretically there's a third way, but I don't know what it is right now.
Well, I mean, we do have mounts. Like, we can take it faster than just walking.
Van can't keep up with you if you do, though. He can't ride a horse.
Fair cop. Just hold this rope in your mouth. It'll be fine.
There you go. I'll just tether him to me and fly. Whee! Hey, Van, you want to be my passenger?
Like a balloon just kind of trailing over behind you?
Exactly.
He floats, but he might still be pretty darn heavy.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Too funny. I love you, Van. Well, I don't know, guys. We could dither for weeks,
Yeah, well, I say
if we're going to go, then we need to think about going as soon as the coast is clear and the redshift is over.
Yeah.
And then we really need to decide if everybody's going, if some of us are going, and which path we're taking. I do wish Foggy was set up. That would be handy. But I am glad that our friend in Alsanes Eska is taken care of.
Yeah, I agree. Well, yeah, I say we head north at the best possible speed we can muster and keep an eye out for, an opposing force, or Raybat stand its defenses.
Yep, me too. Yeah, as much as I would like to do scientific experiments at Gimmery, this is the most useful thing to do.
Okay, well, Naya no longer, rough terrain is no longer an issue for Naya. I don't know how much of that goes away when she's actually already encumbered, because like Mount Lauren, she is always encumbered. But she at least will not be slowed any further by rough terrain if we go that way. Even if she saves up her wild shapes for certain times.
Click the ability. I'll let you know.
Well, I can read it too. So it looks like I can stay in beast shape for 4 hours.
Hey, I got a good idea.
Yep.
We should ask our friend if she knows the song that we discovered.
Oh shit! I studied that song. I can play it.
Which friend?
Do you mean Arissa?
Yes, Arissa.
It doesn't actually say Serb.
If it doesn't say, then that means it is not affected by encumbrance. But
merges with the form. Anything that I can think that is relevant. Equipment that merges with the form has no effect until you leave the form. To decide, and we decided this a long time ago, that whether you drop your equipment or merge it, right?
Yeah, that's up to you.
Right.
And so I don't think it encumbers you if it's merged.
Right. So I opted for merging a long time ago. That's the only thing that it talks about really where it says in terms of equipment. It doesn't, it's like irrelevant. Equipment that merges with the form has no effect until you leave the form.
Right.
But if I'm not in the form, then it would come back to being in effect, which means that maybe she'd still be encumbered even though, or maybe I'm just reading the wrong shit. Oh, where do I even find that now?
If you're just asking if you're encumbered while wild shaped, the answer is no.
No, I was asking if level 9 druid, I no longer am subject to rough terrain.
Okay, yeah, so that just means your speed is not halved in rough terrain.
Right, but what about if I'm encumbered in rough terrain? That's what I was looking
your
for.
speed is lowered by the encumbrance and then not halved.
Okay, so what is the slow value of encumbered?
-10 if you're lightly encumbered.
Well, I'm either not encumbered, or heavily, and I'm not heavily, so I'm just plain encumbered.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's -10. So
Okay.
like,
Okay,
Yeah,
so never
so
mind
you're-
what I said. I might be okay in rough terrain, but I'm still encumbered, so I'm dragging my ass.
right. I'm right there with you.
Yeah, you and I can drag our asses together.
Yeah, Van too, apparently. So
Okay.
at least we're in good company.
Yep.
Well, I mean, we've got Keen also, and whatever I can try to do with my steeds, they come with a saddle, so we have ways to pull and tug things. Actually, does Keen even need to sleep in this new form?
No. Well, actually, I think we've said before that she does sleep a little bit. Does she? Hang on. I wrote it down. Yeah, she does. She doesn't need food, water, or air, but does require sleep.
Okay. Cool. Well, what additional improvements have we been able to do here and at all the forts in terms of improving the battlements and getting things ready for a likely fire potentially coming down from the skies based sort of assault?
There are there are trenches. There are barricades, or rather, like stone, wooden and stone, like spiked cover around. There are more ballistae up. That's really the primary siege weapon that's available and viable here. Especially because, especially in Chose, you are fighting in the middle of a city. You're not fighting actually at the edge of the city when the redshift is on. And when the redshift is off, there's mainly defensive structures. There aren't any siege weapons outside of the range of the obelisk at Chose. But there's defensive structures, trenches. There's one or two spots that have kind of been tunneled out that you can take cover under and like make it back to the center of the city. If under siege from something, or cornered. And that's pretty much it. And like basically turning the city streets into a maze, a very inconvenient maze for anything on foot. At this point, a lot of the people here will have a home turf advantage on that front too, because they know all the hidey holes and alleyways and stuff.
Right. Okay. Okay. We haven't had quite enough time and resource to get the those water towers up and running yet.
No, there hasn't been enough time.
Well, then I'll have to wait, I suppose. There's definitely a lot we'll be able to do to slow them down. Since I don't expect they're going to be coming in during the Redshift. That said, we also have no idea of their capabilities. If that three-headed creature that was a doll that came at us was actually something they sent at us with intent, or if it was purely by random chance that it stumbled through the Redshift to us.
Right.
If they don't have anything like that, which like it might be kind of hard to control and hard to deal with, it should only be attacked during the downtime, plus whatever their travel time is going to be. I suppose if they do attack, it's going to be a full commit sort of thing, a no retreat situation, that the amount of time it would take to move their entire force, they would hope or intend to wipe us out completely and take whatever location over and use the protection there, or to destroy our obelisk and then find a way to get out through wave after wave of teleportation circle. But I don't think it's a situation where, if they're going to be coming, they're planning or going to allow for any amount of retreat. That it's either they win and they occupy, they win and they do an organized exit, or
Right.
they die. Which, of course, will mean they would attack us with the full ferocity, no reservations, every last tool and artifact at their disposal, should they have any that they've been able to allocate for such things. I hope that the Dragon King's greed is so much that all of the artifacts are just being held onto in a cache where nobody gets to use them. Nobody gets to be armed with them. Morio's sword, that's, that could have been a trifle. He could have even made that sword. They could have made one of those for all the kids, for all we know.
Well, yeah, I mean, dragons do have a reputation for hoarding, right?
So I don't know what kind of artifacts and treasures they would have to even throw at us. But whatever they have at their disposal, I would imagine any attack is going to be with intent to conquer or to otherwise defeat us. Now, that is a strategic concern. What can we do to additionally protect and defend and fortify the obelisk? Because if their effort is a full headlong rush straight through, busting down walls, burning everything in their path, trying to get straight to the obelisk to destroy it, and then whatever happens after that happens, and they'll deal with it. That's really not going to work out very well for us. And so anything that we can do to protect it without reducing its effect, we should start thinking about on the sooner with the materials we have available.
The brigadier says, frankly, that would, even if we did lose an obelisk, a headlong rush would, in certain cases, work in our favor, because we'd be able to sit behind our fortifications and whittle them away, as long as their numbers weren't completely overwhelming, and as long as we're not evacuating. I have to hope that they're not. A blitz with little more strategy than that would give us an advantage, I think.
Perhaps it's more of the overwhelming numbers. We have no
Yes.
idea how many golems, how many fomors, mephits of all various varieties, salamanders, the things that we know of, all the different types, all the different forces, and those who are still around to command and orient them.
If this obelisk is destroyed, then it's destroyed in the fight, and we'll just have to make a new one. I'm more concerned about with making sure everybody gets out of here alive, and making sure that these dragons can't bother us anymore. If we need to call a retreat, then we'll do that. And luckily, we do have an easterly retreat that we can take, if absolutely necessary. Otherwise, we'll go west. But these are very much last resorts. In the meantime, I think we can construct a quick wooden fortification around the obelisk to protect it. It won't hold to fire, but at least if they're going to send in some kind of flyer or projectiles from afar, we can at least put the thing under cover.
Can we build some, I don't know what they would be called, but kind of like a palisade for out front that has a lid with some kind of ceramic tiling. Doesn't have to be metal, but some kind of ceramic that might absorb some heat, so that folks on rooftops and things have a little bit of protection.
Do you mean like in front or above them, or?
Actually, I was looking at rooftops.
So like have the heat absorbent on the roof, and then have
what I was thinking was, like, it's very common in the desert, especially, or in hot climates, to have something like a pergola or an awning that shades from the heat, but is also open to the air and catching any breeze that happens. And if we covered the top of that, the awning part, with some kind of ceramic tile or something maybe a little bit heat resistant, not necessarily metal, then that might afford archers and anybody up on the roof with a little bit of cover.
Yeah, we have some low walls up on the outer roofs right now, but getting some proper walls, like tall walls and archways and windows in would be a big help. We've been able to salvage some building materials from the parts of the city that we're not using. So if we have the time to prepare that, we can at least fortify a little bit.
Sounds good.
So while Van and the Brigadier are doing that, are we ready to move on to go time, plan time?
I think so.
Seems like it.
So is the whole party going westward?
Apparently.
Is that what we decided on?
Yeah, I think we're going all as one group.
Good, and Van will come with you. He says as you're getting your supplies ready. I do have to ask you one thing. If we're going in there and there's a chance we're going to run into a fight, I can take out my Bezor so that I can produce anti-magic. It's up to you because you're mostly the ones who are going to have to deal with that.
Yeah, I feel like maybe don't do that.
Or not.
I feel like maybe don't do that.
If we are attacked, I need exactly 1 minute to cast a teleportation circle.
All right, well, as long as I'm not looking at you, you'll be able to use magic if I take out the thing.
Sure enough.
So long as you're ahead of us, we'll give you a shout. The last person on the last step through will give you a shout, letting you know that it's time. And then that point, it is on you to fly as wonderfully and majestically as you do away from harm safely in whatever way is most fit. Can you turn invisible?
No.
No?
Well, not without help.
No, not a beholder. Beholders don't do it.
If there was a scroll of it around, would you be able to use it? Not that I can produce one, but
I was gonna say I think that's theoretical, but also it's like they don't usually do that.
Rolls tend to act weird when I try to read them. They work sometimes. I wouldn't rely on one.
Beholders that want to not be seen use that other spell where they befuddle your brain.
Yeah.
So I suppose if you really ran into trouble, you could just, blast a hole straight through the ground or whatever and just lose them that way.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I have option, of course. Yes, and if we need to all get away, then we can do that. My point, though, do you want me to be able to shut down magic or not?
Oh yeah, if they are clearly using magic, I strongly recommend it. They tend to use what
all I do is magic, though. I mean, unless I'm swinging my finger.
Yeah, it's just if you're going to do it and if it's going to be used, just remain ahead of us, because when that situation comes,
as long as you stay out of my gaze, it won't affect you.
All right,
now we are once again.
Look upon me, beholder.
We are scouts. Right now, this is a scouting mission. We are not the vanguard of a fighting force. So what the best thing I can do is get us out of there, and the best thing we can have you do is give us that crucial minute to get the hell out, and then you will be able to get out on your own.
All right then. Well, if everybody's in agreement and you're all okay with that, then fetch me a napkin if you don't mind.
Certainly. Now let me see one last thing here.
Right.
Shimmering portal. Major temple skills, important places.
He spits up the his anti-vitreous Bezor.
No, I'm just seeing a big sphere with a giant eye and mouth going and spitting out his Bezor.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what's happening.
Yep, look at that. You gotta pick that up and stick it in a bag, or something. You gotta pick that up like a dog shit, right? Like you stick the bag over your hand, and then you pick it up and then fold the bag back off of your hand.
He does. It's like movie stuff.
He says, "Yes, thanks. I can take this and put it away." He keeps his eye closed though. Now, and he makes sure to face away from the obelisk, no matter which way he's flying.
Now, there's one other consideration. Don't look over here. Just thinking about it.
5 of his eyes look over there, but not the big one.
You probably could come through the teleportation circle if you have that popped back in. We don't have to make that decision right now.
Well, as long as my eye is closed, it doesn't have any effect.
Ah, fantastic. So then
I just have to be careful.
That's another option then, is once I've created it, you could also simply be the last one through.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking we were going to leave Van behind. I mean,
well, I don't know how far ahead he would have to be to, hold them off for us to not get attacked. At least for me to not get attacked within a minute. Because, gotta tell you, getting hit with an arrow while you're trying to cast a spell like that, kind of distracting. I don't think they use arrows. They seem to throw javelins and big things, so, not comfortable. Baleful gazes and such. Though the baleful gaze kind of bounced off of me, I think, the one time it did come my way. Then I shut their eye out.
Well, I'm ready to go. I will just grab my travel pack that has my blanket in it, and you all can meet me at the gate.
Fantastic.
Roger.
And hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, how many of those do you want to actually bring with you? That's what Soriana's got for you today.
Let's see. Luck. Advantage on one thing. Yeah, that's useful. 1d4 hours. Well, always good to have animal friendship. You don't know who you're going to meet out there. Poison. Unless we're going to leave a bottle and let someone try to drink it. But that doesn't... Well, the lucky one seems useful. The one to get tiny seems pretty useful. Could be useful for a scouting sort of thing to get real tiny.
Totally. I was feeling similarly.
All right, you want to just take those 2 then?
Yeah, I suppose those in the animal friendship, I don't expect we're going to need it, but unless somebody else around the commission thinks they'll need it, at the very least, someone can chug a potion and know what it's like to talk to animals for a moment.
All right. Somebody write those down, please, then.
Okay. I think I'm going to take the lucky pill. If we need to cast an emergency spell, that'll help me potentially resist being interrupted by being hit.
Okay.
All right. Do you want me to take the Dominionization pill?
That would be either you or I could see Naya. You could potentially, I guess, kind of hold it unchewed in your mouth in like a beast form, or like put it in a pouch or something, and whatever form, or
just wild shape.
Keep it in a pot. Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is while you're in a wild shape form, if you get spotted, you could pop it in your mouth and crunch it, and then seemingly disappear.
Oh, I see. By getting even smaller.
Exactly. This is click pencil button, and then you scroll all the way down. Yeah, click add. Look. Till one session. Okay, so I've got the lucky pill. All right.
Okay. And then if everybody is ready, we are ready.
Sir, what's the miles that we're traveling?
Well, I will let you know. However, it is 1 a.m., and I don't think we're going to be able to finish any events that happen before a reasonable time. So I think what we need to do is call it early today. Next time, start immediately on your quest.
Okay.
And play it through.
That makes sense to me.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
I was actually going to ask how your throat's holding up, so this is definitely a good time.
I'm okay. Yeah, thanks.
While we're here, I wanted to ask. I'm not trying to impose on anybody to try to move or shift or anything, because I know it's a kind of a week here coming up, but would like a Thursday or another sort of time of day potentially next week work for anyone?
I was actually just about to ask, would I know somebody mentioned it last time, for next week only, would we be, because Naya cannot make it, do we think Saturday might be okay?
Yeah.
Wait, Saturday is New Year's Day?
Is it?
Right.
No, it's New Year's Eve, right?
Oh, it's New Year's Eve. Shit.
New Year's Eve I can do.
You can.
All right.
Then right on, we're just gonna have to stop at midnight and do a toast because
We could do a toast.
I mean,
yeah,
that's fine. I'm not doing anything that night, so
I'm not going out. That's
I'm around.
The most of us were probably going to be, playing something anyway. So, yeah,
Exactly.
I mean, it's amateur night, so yeah, I'm not going out.
Yep.
okay. Let's do it then. Saturday next week instead of Friday. I'll update it on the calendar. But
Cool.
if everybody's
Awesome.
okay with that, we'll play next week.
Awesome.
Sweet. Sounds good. I'm glad we set that up. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. All
Last
right.
game
Thanks,
of the
everybody.
year.
We will.
That's a good way to ring out the year.
And then we have a few more till the end.
Yep.
Okay. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone. Have
Good night,
a good
sir.
night.
Yeah, night, everybody.
Thanks, sir.